There was a video that came out about a couple Starbucks employees. Let me change my banner and let me change my background. Booyah. Hey. There was some Starbucks employees that got fired for defending their store. We're gonna take y'all right into it. We're gonna take you to St. Louis for this.
It's going to do is dissuade people potentially from protecting their own lives when they may need it the most. And that is not a world that we can live in.
A Starbucks robbery stopped by employees who were fired because of it. We now have exclusive access to video never before seen publicly, which Fox Files investigator Chris Hayes just obtained tonight.
If you've been in St. Louis a while, you are likely familiar with this unique building near the SLU campus, but you have not seen the video we're about to show you. Robbers being stopped by two Starbucks employees who were fired because of it. It was a Sunday in December 2023, the middle of the afternoon. Michael Harris was working drive-through.
We were just going about our normal day. Two robbers walked in.
One suspect walks behind the counter and shoves a female worker to the ground.
I was scared, but also just calm at the moment because I was just like, whatever we could do to just get them out.
You know what would have been funny? I'm sorry, I'm gonna get back to the video. It's like when he said they shoved the female worker to the ground. Somebody should have just I had like a little sound. I could have been like the woman shrieking, like, ah!
Out of here would be perfect.
The robbers demand money and strike Harris with a gun.
After that point, like when my vision went black, I was like, I'm about to get shot.
A customer in the drive-thru sees what's happening and reverses her car.
It was definitely a life or death situation in my eyes.
Another worker, also fired after this, saw a suspect lower his gun, so he shoved him and noticed the gun was fake.
The trigger broke off when they hit him with it. My coworker announced that it was a fake gun, like right as he got it off of them. And that's when we jumped and like started to fight them a little bit more.
But now in prison after robbery convictions. Harris says he got a call from corporate.
They said, this is Starbucks. We are terminating you effective immediately.
He hired attorney Ryan Krupp.
You have the right to self-preservation. You have the right to make sure that you and your family are not going to be physically harmed. Full stop.
Krupp says Starbucks' response could lead to a future deadly outcome.
All it's going to do is dissuade people potentially from protecting their own lives when they may need it the most. And that is not a world that we can live in.
Starbucks did not respond to our request for comment. For the Fox Files, I'm Chris Hayes.
I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure y'all noticed I'm in my workout gear. I came back and worked out. So for the next 2 more nights, y'all gonna see me in my workout gear. I'm pretty sure y'all by now. Y'all pretty sure y'all know by now. Okay, so this came across the timeline yesterday, and I did watch the video. I did watch a little bit of it, and I did some digging on this. I did a little bit of digging. Okay. There is Utah. I think Utah is the only state that I know that when I research it, that they have what they call a public policy exemption for matters like this. If the employee protects them, like basically for legal self-defense, like they legally was able to like defend their place of business or whatnot. Now all employees are at will. Okay. I think that which states, I'm sorry, let me just states are at will employment. I think all United States except Montana follow at will employment, meaning you can be fired for any reason. So there's only one state, and Montana's. I'm gonna share my screen with you all. Sorry, this is disingenuous to not share what I'm looking at and show you what I'm looking at. Okay, so as you see, Montana has an exception. Theirs is a probational period, typically 6 to 12 months. Employers must have just cause to terminate an employee. Just cause includes reasons like poor performance, misconduct, legitimate business needs. Employees wrongfully terminated in Montana may recover lost wages and benefits for up to 4 years. Ooh. With punitive damages possible in cases of fraud and malice. Okay, so now public exception, which theirs required, that's the key takeaway for theirs. Now I'm gonna go to Utah. My bad. Whoop, my bad. So Utah, the Ed Will doctrine generally means, okay, we already know what that means. Okay. All right. So the public policy exception is one of the key exceptions recognized by the Supreme Court in Utah. Essentially, it prohibits an employer from firing an employee for reasons that violate clear and substantial public policy of the state. This policy must be grounded in constitutional provision, statute, or recognized source of law, not just general sense of fairness. So, well, okay, I guess I seen it yesterday. I guess I misread it or something like that. But the only one that has the Utah, and I think the only one that's very obvious is Montana. But my whole point is, okay, we'll get off this. Most places are at will. Let me stop sharing my screen. All right, there we go. So what my thought? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me pull up. Oh, yes. Here we go. Here we go. Let me share my screen again. I'm sorry. If this is taking a little minute. I just want, because I think this is, share my screen. Okay, so these are the 4 reasons, okay, or 5 reasons, okay. Now, employers, number 1, employers often oppose allowing employees to use self-defense during robbery because of legal policy and liability concerns. I think most of us understand this. I think most of us get this, right? And we've seen situations where grocers, like, because they're shrinkage, they're loss leaders and stuff like that. The thing is that they would rather for you, like they don't want you to, basically Starbucks don't want you to die over $8 worth of cup of coffee. Okay. Now, if it's your privately owned business, like a restaurant or your food truck, car wash, of course you need to have some kind of safety procedures in place anyway, but you do have all legal, or if it was a gas station, like if it was like a BP, or if it was a Shell's gas station, like the little, those, because Quick Trip, you can't do it. Quick Trip, if you can't, you kind of got to just basically call the cops. You kind of got to just comply, right? De-escalation tactics and stuff like that. So, because if somebody got hurt, right, the employees or the other employees or whatnot, or customers got hurt, they can be like, well, I didn't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable getting my cha latte with my Danish while somebody is trying to rob us. I just feel my life. Whatever the case may be, right? And so again, they were rather for you just to, hey, just let them have it, comply, and and let them handle it. Let the legal department take care of that, right? The goal is for you to, the same way you come in, like they always tell you, and if even if you work for yourself, whatnot, the goal is to make a home. The same way you came in, it's the same way that you like to leave out, right? Come in one piece, leave in one piece, right? So it's a whole lot of when employees start taking matters in their own hands, such as places like Starbucks, or if it was Chick-fil-A, whatever, right? Now if a customer, a law-abiding customer, had a gun, whatever, and all that, and they drew down on that, that's a different conversation. Now that is a different conversation, right? Now if it's a justified shoot, of course, obviously, right? Because you want to make sure, because then that falls under the legal liability and litigation risk, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Because like they say, employees, customers, or other parties may sue for wrongful term. Well, I don't know how customers can sue for wrongful termination or violation of labor laws. I don't know. The employees or other parties, maybe vendors, whatnot, because they consider it. Because the employers may prefer to avoid ambiguity by treating all participants in a violent incident as part of the hazard, rather than assessing whether the response was legally justified. Okay, so, I know there's a lot there, right? But the most important thing is, again, I love Chick-fil-A, and I know this is not Chick-fil-A, it's a Starbucks, and I don't dislike. I every now and again I might get a Starbucks, whatnot. But again, they don't want you to lose your life over a $7 sandwich. Okay, they don't want that, right? Because see, if something happens, right, and something happens to you, then then people, because then it be like, oh man, I feel like I'm safe, because family, people can, that's the legal liability risk mitigation. And then also it kind of falls on, you got to kind of follow OSHA, and you know it's like they say, if self-defense is allowed in some cases, but others it may create it may, like, basically, like, there may be cases where, okay, like you're trying to defuse, this might hit you, that's one thing, right? I mean, I that not every okay, there can't every exception can't be the rule, because if it is, it just weakens the rule, right? There may be cases where, oh, all right, that's set, but every case can't be lumped in, right? So overall, employers they are opposed to self-defense work during robberies, because they want to maintain control over the workplace safety, avoid legal disputes, enforce uniform policies, while employees' right to self-defense is protected under criminal law. Employment law allows employers to discipline or turn. So that's the other thing. It's just, that's where the conflict comes in at, right? There may be some cases where, okay, all right, but for the most part, for overall, it's never a good idea to take matters in your own hand. Okay, so hopefully I wasn't talking too much. Hopefully I wasn't talking too long, whatever. Because I'm just trying to make clear, because I know people are like, man, it's crazy. I'm pretty sure most of us, the more normal, common sense thinking people, be like, hey, you can have it. You got it. Like, if I'm working, especially if I'm working for Chick-fil-A or Starbucks, hey, you got it. You know what I'm saying? Call security around. Let that be the law enforcement's dealing, than he being yours. Okay. You know. So now now if you now they try to subdue them. Now I guess, I don't know. I really don't want to. It's pretty clear, I mean, if it was me, ooh man, like, if it was a restaurant they worked for me, that's working for me, okay. But we would just have to step up security, because I don't want to risk my employees. They got families they got to look after. I feel like they my responsibility, you know what I mean? And so I want to make sure that they return back home to their families in one piece. So if you can, just be safe. Be safe. And I know these situations, they can go left, but it's just better just to let them have it. Let them have it. You know, let them have it. So I know there's a lot there. My comment or question I have for you all, and even for me, I probably hear me. Y'all probably gonna be done listening to me talk here. Let me stop sharing my screen here. So when an employee risks their life to fight off armed robbers and corporate headquarters respond by firing them for violating policy, because it's policy and it's employment law, what message does that send to the rest of working America? Well, I would say this. Most people, we all go through a safety incident response plan. Okay. And I know the question is it corporate liability? Is corporate liability more valuable to these brands and actual physical lives of the people of their stores, of their stores? Well, I think they value the lives of the employees. You know, it's to minimize risk as possible. Now, unfortunately, we've seen Walmart get shot up. We've seen other grocers get shot up and stuff like that. I mean, you know, people trying to do what they can to defend people. I know sometimes they fight off the attacker or whatnot. You know, again, it's varying how the employer sees fit. You know what I'm saying? I know there's a legal matter and so on and so forth, right? So everybody ain't getting a place shot up. You know what I'm saying? Like a large growth, like, you know, Starbucks ain't getting, you know, and I don't want, you know, Starbucks to be shot up, but, you know, or Kroger's or whatnot. But I think these places do care about their employees or whatnot. I think it's just that you don't want the legal headache. That's the thing that they don't want. They want to avoid the legal liability and the litigation that will come from that. You know, so now if it's one thing you slip and fall, they ready for you. If you hurt yourself while doing a robbery, they can handle that. You know what I'm saying? They can sort that out. Like you got bopped over the head and you know you trying to run, you slipped and fell, you tore your Achilles, whatnot. You can deal with there's insurance, we can handle that, right? We can pay for your pain and suffering, but you know, trying to take matters in your own hand, just don't do it. And also the last question is if a corporation tells you that your only compliance option is total surrender, are they fundamentally breaking the social contract of the workplace? Well, again, you know, yes, a split second, but again, there's state law, but it's also employment law, right? We can't be taking it in our own hands. I gave the exceptions as far as if it's a food truck, you know, you got a right to protect, it's your property, right, to protect your food truck or your restaurant and whatnot, car wash, you know, but you do got to have some safety parameters in place or whatever and all that, obviously. But or if it's your club or something like that, it's your personal, you know, yeah, definitely, you know what I'm saying. Or if it's your private convenience store, certainly, I'm pretty, you know. But if it's a nationally recognized chain, chances are, you know, even though we've seen places where people somehow, the employees somehow bring a firearm to work, and so, but I guarantee you they don't have a job. Okay, so I like to make money. I like to keep my money. I mean, most people are law gun owners anyway, law abiding gun owners and whatnot. But again, if a customer is there and they just so happen to take action, that you probably rather for that to happen than, you know, then you try to take matters in your own hand and you possibly losing your life, you know. So yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot, man. I hope I broke. Hopefully I made sense. Hopefully I made some sense, y'all. I hope I did. I I try to you know, make it clear and try to give examples and stuff like that. I don't want to read to y'all like y'all can't read, but you know, just for my own comprehension, for my own understanding as well. And then for the ones that kind of feel like, well, the employer should do like, nah. Like that's why, you know, I try to paint the broadest picture, the biggest, broadest, comprehensive picture that I can possibly paint. Right? If it's your dojo, like say if you do martial arts, your dojo, yeah, you got all means to throw down and kick ass and take names. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You probably only have to use a firearm. That's the firearm. The firearm will be your last resort. You know. So, yeah. Moving on. We got some more to talk about this whole